What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video where we will talk about who will be Liverpool's next manager, and we will focus on Ruben Amorim in this video because according to The Athletic and Paul Joyce, Ruben Amorim is under serious consideration. He emerges as the front runner to take over from Jurgen Klopp after Xabi Alonso publicly in a press conference at Bayer Leverkusen declared that he's going to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. And you know, Liverpool will be in transition with a new managerial setup and a new sporting structure. Bayern Munich are in transition and Real Madrid are not available as a job for Xabi Alonso because Carlo Ancelotti still has 2 years left on his contract. So it makes sense on all levels for Xabi Alonso to stay at Bayer Leverkusen because he's building a great team there and he's betting on himself and he's trusting his intuition that the best decision for him right now. He's still only 42 years old, don't forget. He's still very young. He's still basically at the start of his managerial journey. So it's better for him to develop Bayer Leverkusen, to try to go far in the Champions League, to try to win the Bundesliga again next season, to go against Bayern Munich. And this is a big indictment on Bayern Munich as well. Instead of choosing them, he chooses Leverkusen and he will say to Bayern, you know what, I will beat you again next season. I'm betting on myself. So I like it that Xabi Alonso actually made this decision, even though on the other side I hate it because I wanted him to become the Liverpool manager. But according to various English news outlets and journalists, Ruben Amorim has now emerged as the frontrunner for the Liverpool job. He's highly regarded and he fits FSG's profile of what they value in managers. His attacking brand of football is seen as being of a similar style to that established under Jurgen Klopp. So we will actually take a deep look at what Ruben Amorim could bring to Liverpool. But first I wanted to give you guys more news about Liverpool FC and the managerial search. Simone Inzaghi, the Inter manager, who is on course to win the Serie A title by an absolute landslide. They are like 16 points clear of the second place team, and Inzaghi is regarded as a big outsider for the Liverpool managerial job. Inter doesn't want to lose him, of course, and he doesn't really speak English, so that would be an issue for him if he moved to the Premier League. Ruben Amorim speaks very good English. I listened to some of his interviews and press conferences and he actually speaks very good English, which is very important. If you come in to a huge club like Liverpool, you absolutely have to be able to communicate your thoughts, your ideas, your tactical instructions in English to the players. And according to The Athletic, there has been no contact between Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso recently, and his decision to stay at Leverkusen for at least one more season is not linked to the Real Madrid job in the future. But it's pretty convenient that Xabi Alonso can probably still have a really good pick of big clubs next season. The Liverpool job might not be available because if we sign Ruben Amorim, I believe that Liverpool will be very successful under him and he could stay for many years at Liverpool. But Xabi Alonso is betting on himself that in 5 years, in 10 years, he will still be at the top in terms of being a top manager, and the Liverpool job will come up again. But probably it's best if Xabi Alonso doesn't take over from Jurgen Klopp from his personal point of view, because, you know, taking over after such a legendary manager is going to always be very tough. And also there is a big transition going on at Liverpool, especially from the management style. There are a lot of unknown factors at Liverpool, there are a lot of unknown factors at Bayern, so he's pretty much just wanting to stay at Leverkusen, to remain loyal to his club, to the management of Leverkusen, to his players. He worked so hard on the last 1.5 years on this Leverkusen squad. That's the slip of a tongue, on his Leverkusen squad. So he wants to give them one more season. But Xabi Alonso didn't give any false hope to Liverpool that he will become Liverpool manager. There was just a school of thought among some staff at Liverpool that if Leverkusen won the Bundesliga, Xabi Alonso might decide he could not top that and move on to Liverpool. Alonso was the clear favorite to take over from Jurgen Klopp. He ticked a lot of boxes, but he was never offered the job, and there were no face-to-face discussions, according to The Athletic. When Liverpool FC initially made contact with Alonso's camp, they were informed that he was unlikely to be available this summer. The door was not completely closed, but the message was clear. This was not the time to talk, and then Xabi Alonso decided to stay at Leverkusen. And I respect that decision, you know, we have to respect that decision, and Liverpool will move on to other candidates. And the Record Portugal newspaper or news outlet is reporting that Liverpool will conduct a meeting with Ruben Amorim close to the end of the season. Sporting are leading the Portuguese league. They are 1 point clear with a game in hand, so they are on course to win the Portuguese title for the second time since Ruben Amorim is a manager there, and they are also doing well in the cup competitions. And already some journalists are reporting that Richard Hughes will interview the Portuguese manager Ruben Amorim very soon, and Liverpool will have no issue paying the £17 million release clause on the contract of Ruben Amorim to take him from Sporting at the end of the season, because if Liverpool think he's worth it, then we definitely should pay the release clause of him, and we have more than enough money to pay the release clause, and on top of that to sign some top players for the new manager. But of course the Spanish press are already saying that Xabi Alonso is planning to coach Real Madrid. That's why he rejected both Liverpool and Bayern Munich, and he's waiting to take on the role of Real Madrid manager next summer. But of course that's you know, the narrative in Spain, that's how it is. But after Ruben Amorim, the choices come very thin for Liverpool. Julian Nagelsmann and Roberto De Zerbi are the two other managerial candidates. I'm not really a huge fan of De Zerbi, and Nagelsmann, I don't know enough about him to really consider whether he would be good enough for Liverpool or not. But interestingly, Bayern Munich are now thinking about bringing Nagelsmann back. Max Eberl, the Bayern new sporting director, is thinking about bringing Nagelsmann back, and that would be a big indictment on the decision to actually sack Nagelsmann in the first place, because Bayern have went backwards under Thomas Tuchel's management. So it was an idiotic decision by Oliver Kahn and Hassan Salihamidzic to sack Julian Nagelsmann in the first place, and Bayern might realize their errors and bring him back. But you know, that's their problem. Let's focus on Liverpool. And it actually appears very unlikely that Nagelsmann would take over the Liverpool management job, according to the Telegraph newspaper. And Paul Joyce has some very, very interesting things to say about Ruben Amorim and how Ruben Amorim actually caught Liverpool's eye in the hunt to replace Jurgen Klopp. He's an innovative coach who transformed Sporting and could now be in the frame for the manager's job at Anfield, and Xabi Alonso is staying with Xabi Alonso staying at Bayer Leverkusen. Ruben Amorim was aware of all the doubts. His first senior coaching assignment at SC Braga has been short but sweet. He only had 13 matches at Braga, but he won the domestic cup, the Portuguese cup, over Porto, and he also won for the first time against Benfica since 1955 in Braga's history. That's massive. And Sporting decided to trigger a €10 million release clause in Ruben Amorim's contract at Braga, and it seemed like a massive risk. And by the way, Ruben Amorim is even younger than Xabi Alonso. He's just 39 years old. So when Ruben Amorim was confronted with the questions about his credentials and perceived inexperienced, and he responded with one of his own. And what if it goes well? And it went well. Sporting were champions for the first time in 19 years after Ruben Amorim took over, and they are strong candidates to repeat winning the title this season. He won 2 more Portuguese League Cups, he won the Portuguese Super Cup, and he returned Sporting Club de Portugal to a level where Benfica and Porto were in recent years. And interestingly, Ruben Amorim actually used to play for Benfica as a player. After he retired in 2017, he took his coaching badges. He was an intern at Casa Pia, a lower league club based in Lisbon. He didn't need money after a successful playing career, so he actually worked for free as an intern there. He was involved in hiring, firing, and generally improving the team and culture of the club. And then he moved on to become the Braga reserve team manager in the Portuguese third tier, and he was then promoted to become manager of the senior side in 2019, only being 34 years old. His only defeat in 13 games came against Steven Gerrard's Rangers, and Sporting quickly got out their checkbook to bring him over. Since Ruben Amorim's appointment 4 years ago, Sporting have won 10 more points than Benfica to trail Porto by only 7. He has averaged 2.4 points per game during his time at Sporting. Before him, Sporting averaged 2.1 points per game, so he definitely improved them. And he has the ability to coach the best out of young players. That's what I love about him the most. He coached João Palhinha, who is now playing for Fulham, Pedro Porro, who is playing for Tottenham now, Matheus Nunes, who is playing now for Manchester City, Manuel Ugarte, who went to Paris Saint-Germain from Sporting. And Sporting sold players worth in total over £150 million under the management of Ruben Amorim. So he's a great developer of young talent, and that's what you need to be as a Liverpool manager as well. And Sporting lost a lot of very good players. So last season they didn't finish in the top 3 in the Portuguese league, they didn't win a trophy. But this season, with the signing of Viktor Gyökeres, who is half Hungarian, I'm full Hungarian, so I have a soft spot for him. They signed him for just 17 million pounds, and he has been one of the signings of the season in Europe. Gyökeres has scored 36 goals in 39 games this season, and in total he has like 50 goal contributions or something crazy like that. And he is the center point of a front three that usually features Pedro Gonçalves and Marcus Edwards in the wide forward positions. Sporting play with a 3 at the back formation with very aggressive wing backs. Nuno Santos especially is a great young player, not very young but yeah, middle-aged in terms of footballers, like 27, 28 years old, and he's a left winger converted to a left wing back who can bomb up and down the wing, great crossing, great finishing. But Gyökeres has been the star of the season with even better finishing stats, and Pedro Gonçalves, Marcus Edwards, that's a brilliant front three. And what Sporting does in attack, they have the striker Gyökeres sometimes dropping deep, and then the wingbacks and the wingers are overlapping him, and sometimes Gyökeres stays up front and the wingers bump forward with the wingbacks supporting on either side. They can create overloads. But what I also love about that is in defense they play a very aggressive style, because they drop back into a back 5, and then the midfielders and the attacking wingers drop back as well, and any pocket that the striker or the winger of the opposition occupies, 2 or 3 players jump on him and high press the opposition player. And because they have a 5 at the back formation in defense, they essentially can cover any hole. So even one centre back can go out from the defense and engage into midfield with a pressing situation, because then you have 2 other centre backs plus the wing back to tuck in and help in case that press doesn't work. But they press from the front, so the Gyökeres and the wingers press from the front, and the midfield too as well. So they are essentially in attack, they play a 3-4-3 formation, but in defense it's a 5-2-2-1 formation in defense. And you can also love the fact that Sporting lead the league for the number of direct attacks, but they can also vary their style, coming out on top also for build-up attacks, which is the number of open play sequences containing 10 or more passes that either end in a shot or at least one touch in the opposition box. Sporting also lead the league for average open play possession time per sequence, which is 10.8 seconds. Should Sporting hold their nerve over the coming weeks, they host Benfica and travel to Porto in some of their crucial league meetings, then Amorim would be the first man to win more than one league title at Sporting since the Englishman Randolph Galloway won more than one league title in the 1950s. So that could be a historic season for Sporting. Of course, winning in Portugal does not bring with it any guarantees in the Premier League. Jose Mourinho excelled in Portugal, and André Villas-Boas and Bruno Lage found it much tougher going in the Premier League. So of course it's not a guarantee that Ruben Amorim will be a success at Liverpool, but at least it gives us a great idea on what kind of football Liverpool would play. And Liverpool could play a 3 at the back formation if we sign one more centre back, and that could be Inacio or Diomande at Sporting. They are very talented, great centre backs as well, so he could bring one of them over as a new Liverpool manager. And then I would love to see Trent Alexander-Arnold as this wing-back bombing forward or coming inside into the midfield. Or we could have Conor Bradley as a wing-back and Trent Alexander-Arnold playing as a deep-lying playmaker. I would love to see that as well. And Liverpool sometimes play a 3-5-2 formation with Joe Gomez or Conor Bradley inverting. Joe Gomez's flexibility allows Liverpool to build in numerous ways. And Jurgen Klopp trusts Harvey Elliott, for example, to facilitate when, Conor Bradley is bombing forward. And Conor Bradley sometimes is solely responsible for the right wing when he's playing there. And with the developments of Conor Bradley, Harvey Elliott, Jarrell Kwanzaa, Joe Gomez, the combinations are almost infinite, almost endless at Liverpool. It almost like feels right that an Amorim type of coach coming in, making this evolution, the next evolution of Liverpool FC's playing style. So that's my assessment of Ruben Amorim. It would be very exciting if he becomes the manager at Liverpool. But of course, at Liverpool, the management is a lot more about just tactics. It's about, doing well in press conferences, saying the right things in the media, handling the massive pressure well. And he's pretty untested in that department. So let's see if we appoint Ruben Amorim or not. And let's see how he handles the pressure. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave your thoughts down below. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.